and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus, live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive across from the Navy base.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back.
You think we're this, big, happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples Never Fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Sports fans, we love our teams, but let's talk real estate for a moment. Meet Berg Title, your trusted local real estate title and escrow company. Based in downtown Panama City, Berg Title knows the community inside out. They handle everything from title searches to escrow services with expertise. Honest, reliable, and here to make your real estate journey smooth. Remember, it's Berg Title. Call them at 850-250-2900. That's Berg Title, your partner for a worry-free real estate experience in Panama City and Panama City Beach.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I'm an expert and I'm a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Back then they didn't want me, damn hot they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, damn hot they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, damn hot they all on me. Back then they didn't want me, damn hot they all on me.
Hey, good Friday morning. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Live and local on 104.3 in Panama City, Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. You can watch us on Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can go back and watch us as well, as you can always check out any of the 3 live and local shows after they're live and local. You can also download the free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. That one you do need to search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Little lonely in the studio today, but we got DJ Davey Crockett behind the glass. I know as Jay is participating in the Florida Panhandle Golf Therapy Alliance 2nd Annual Golf Fundraising Tournament, and it's a beautiful morning out there right now. Hopefully they can dodge any weather that may come in this afternoon, but from seeing some stuff on social media, it looked like they were having a good time. They have full field, 36 teams, lots of sponsors, flag sponsors, raising tons of money to help military, children, people with disabilities and mental issues and different things that may inhibit them from, trying to get going, and that's what golf therapy is all about. And the Florida Panhandle Golf Therapy Alliance relies completely on grants and donations, so this golf tournament is a very, very important part of that. So hopefully everybody's enjoying it out there. Hopefully Jay's playing and having a good time. We'll have to get his picks for today later on when I'll send him the spreadsheet.
Give me a ballpark estimation of how many teams are going to be playing today, you think?
36, full field.
36, all right. So over, under 13th place for Jay.
Ooh, if I only knew who he was playing with.
Yeah.
I'll say under.
But Jay can be the leader of the squad, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Under, all right. I'll go over since he didn't come in today.
Okay, that's fair.
There we go.
We'll have to get some results. I'll get them from Gavin later on today and then see how that stands out. But yeah, great tournament for a great cause, and that's a beautiful thing about using golf. It's just lots of people can play golf, and it's not just asking for donations. You're getting an opportunity and an experience to play some golf and have a good time as well. So always a good thing there. But we got a good show lined up today. Lots of guests on this fun Friday. The first one will be at 11:20, and that'll be Mr. Josh Woodham. He's currently he's the Destin High QB coach. His son Hampton Woodham is actually the quarterback for Destin High as well. He's also in charge of the QB Vision Gulf Coast branch, and he was the founder of the Air Raid QB Academy. So looking forward to talking to him at 11:20 about all things quarterbacks. He also coaches the Destin High girls flag football team, which he could talk a whole segment about that because he absolutely loves doing that. He coaches varsity and JV.
I'm interested in that, man. I think that's really cool, and I think we had talked about that a little bit earlier on one of your earlier shows about how the girls less ego to some extent.
No, that's what he was, and he can probably elaborate on the next segment. I just added that to my list of things I wanted to talk to him about because he just talked about how the girls they're all encouraging one another, and it's just different. It's just different, and he said his quarterback is an absolute dog, and she's just so fun to us. He's having a blast doing that, but busy guy, that's for sure. That's who we spent some time with last Saturday, and I know many other kids from Bay County here did the same thing. So looking forward to getting him on the air at 11:20, and then we'll have Mr. Williams from Reliable Hydraulic Solutions coming in to hang out for the 11:40 segment. Talk a little bit about what he's got going on, and then the awesome sports stuff going on right now because there's a ton of stuff going on. You think when football season ends that everything just comes to a screeching halt, but that is not true. That is for sure. And then as always, we got the Afternoon Delight debrief coming up at 12, top of the hour. We'll have some fun topics in that one, and then it's Friday, so that means 11:20. We got Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports Cards will be joining us, and then we'll round out that last segment, and that'll be the whole show right here on the Inside Drive. It is Friday. It is nice now, that is for sure. I want to talk about a few things in this first segment. The first thing I want to go over is just some of the local scores from yesterday. We had some big baseball and softball games, and a few teams staying undefeated. Bay traveled over to Wakulla Christian School, who is now 5-0 after beating 4-3 Bay 12-4. As we mentioned yesterday, Mosley traveled up to Opelika to take on a really good baseball program up there, 12-3. Mosley almost got the dub, losing in that one 8-7, but a very close game and a good effort there by Mosley. And also on the baseball side, North Bay Haven traveled over to Mariana. Mariana's now 5-1 after a 13-3 victory over North Bay Haven. And then Arnold staying undefeated on the baseball side of things, following a little bit in that soccer footsteps. They are now 6-0 after a 3-0 victory against what was the 4-0 Tate, who's now 4-1. And then, of course, Bozeman, they're having, if there was a school you wanted to give the, school team of the year award.
In college.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would have to go to Bozeman, as they baseball team is now 7-0 after traveling over there to Franklin County and shutting them out 8-0. And then Mosley softball, who's now 3-5, beat Bozeman 3-1. They fall to 3-2. We'll talk about some of the games coming up tonight, should the weather hold out, as you got another great on the docket. Arnold's got a home game, and Mosley's continuing their road trip up there, and should be good stuff. A lot of good stuff going on there. But also too, I got to give a shout out to Jay Chapman. He had no skin in the game, no reason, but we had our first 10U baseball game last night, and not coaching that, which is a different experience, that's for sure. But he came out, and Liam was doing some pitching, and he came out there and was watching the two games and just hanging out, and just a class act. Jay Chapman is, and he played at Mosley, he grew up here, and he continues to do the right thing and just support these youth sports here in Bay County.
I mean, that's so awesome. Just as a kid, for those kids, an MLB player showing up to your games, and even if he's not giving you advice or anything like that, he's pouring his time into you, and that's huge for our community, and it's a absolutely beautiful thing. And for those of us who know Jay, especially off the mic, like he seems like a great dude on the microphone, but when you're talking to him off the air, it's like, is this real life?
Yeah.
Because he's just so down to earth, and he treats everyone like they're a king.
Yeah, if you were to dial up what you'd like to see a former major league player do in his hometown, he's certainly written the playbook for that. That is for sure. So kudos to him coming out, and it was a lot of fun yesterday. Baseball will do another game on Monday. Looking forward to that because I think the weather's going to be good too. So as well. But talking a little bit about this first segment and then get your thoughts too, Jay. Obviously, it was announced that on July 20th on Netflix, Mike Tyson will be fighting Jake Paul. Obviously, a lot of these Jake Paul fights are definitely, more entertainment, spectacle kind of things. But, you've got a 50-year-old fighting a 57-year-old fighting a 27-year-old. And obviously, Mike Tyson can still spar. But they're actually going to fight. There's a betting line on it. Jake Paul is 9-1 as a boxer. Last time Mike Tyson fought, in quotation marks, was back in 2020. And this is going to be at AT&T Stadium. What are your initial thoughts on this one, David? I'm curious to see what you have to say.
My initial thoughts on this is a way for Netflix to get into the live sporting event world, and
Absolutely.
What better way to do that than with two huge names.
Yep.
I've come to like Jake Paul a little bit more, not having anything to do with the boxing realm, but what he does for boxing.
Yeah,
and what
absolutely.
he does for, I don't want to say he's not a legitimate boxer, because he is.
Yeah.
He is a legitimate boxer, and he puts time into working on this craft. But from the promotional side of it, it's great for the fighters who put their heads on the line, essentially, to make that dollar, and it's something that they love. Outside of that, there's nothing to me that's going to be clamoring to watch this.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Are you going to watch? Or
it's like this. July 20th comes, and I have nothing going on, and then it's like, oh, yeah, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are fighting. Then, I'll turn it on. But there's nothing that's like, man, I'm setting this day aside to watch this sparring match. Because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
And
it's like an exhibition match.
We got Tyson and we got Roy Jones Jr. a few years ago, and that was pretty cool. But the level of that was just not what I guess maybe we were expecting. And why was I expecting something out of guys who were 55 plus years old? And again, hey, if I were to step in the ring with any one of those three guys, I got to sit at the table the other day with Roy Jones Jr. and his handshake is still pretty daggum strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll put it that way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a glorified sparring match. I think that it's great for Netflix. I think that it's great for people who are still getting duped into this from the betting side of things, because that's what's wild to me is like, how do you bet something like this?
Yeah, how do you even cap it? How do you even put a line on this one? Because there's not really anything to go off of on the Tyson side of things. Obviously, Jake Paul, is 9-1 as a boxer in a lot of these other exhibition fights that he's had. But yeah, no, it's a good point on Netflix. I really think that it's going to help them. You're seeing, the Peacocks and the exclusive stuff going on streaming and all that. So this is just one of those other things that is kind of following suit there. But I know we got a big UFC card coming up that we'll I think we got a caller on the line. I know you're writing it on the whiteboard, but we can talk about that in the last segment as well. But we got Michigan Eddie on the line. I'm going to start this, Michigan Eddie. We got a big series. You're taking on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers down in Springbrook Stadium on the baseball side of things.
We'll go Blue. Trace Razor. Everyone else, hey, go Blue, baby. Hope Michigan baseball plays better than Air Force baseball, because they snuck it up in Houston last week when we were there for the Perfect Game tournament. But I got some good news for you, brother.
What's that?
I got someone that's interested in a Ron Jaworski helmet full size.
I know somebody who has one.
So if you're familiar, at the starting bid price, it's sold. If if you want that.
Ah, okay, gotcha. So you saw my little change in pace.
And he's an American patriot, by the way.
Ooh, even better. That leads me to make me want to do that. I'll definitely text you after the show today, and we can probably make that happen because it sounds like it'll save on some shipping for him too.
Yep, it will. But he's down.
Awesome. Brokering it right on the air. Hey, I got a jersey yesterday, and I was going to text you, but I didn't. I got a signed Nico Collins Michigan jersey in one of my surprise boxes. So, should you know anyone that may be interested in that as well, just let me know.
Yeah, well, we're both eBay Sports Memorabilia store entrepreneurs now.
Yeah, just try to get into that game a little bit. Try to do some extra things that don't require a lot of physical effort to do some stuff. So I appreciate you kind of led the way a little bit that for me. You're making some stuff happen, and it piqued my interest, and it's been cool. It's been cool.
Yeah, I sold 4 helmets the other day.
Nice,
so it's good.
Nice.
It's going good. You got to get the high-end merchandise to get respectability to your store.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't just get the mystery boxes with Hall of Famers that no one knows about.
Yep,
you got to kind of spend the money to make money, and then give the bros a good deal.
There's certainly a little investment, but once you get going, it's like anything; it kind of compounds itself. But did Coach Moon get what he needed to get?
He did. He got the Herschel Walker signed helmet, so that's good. Hopefully his significant other is happy with that, and it's all good.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But anyway, I just wanted to call, and I got to get back to work. Just want to call you and say it's sold. So so you're good there. And is Coach Jay there?
Coach Jay is actually playing in the Florida Panhandle Golf Therapy Alliance tournament we got going out there at Bay Point. So it's just me and David Hayes hanging out today.
All right, I got to get a lesson for Kenley because she's got that golf tournament in Pace, that qualifier on Sunday. And we're taking little Eddie down to Kissimmee for 2 games tomorrow for football. Then I heard you got the Quarter Vision Gulf Coast guy coming on.
Yep, Josh Wooden's going to be joining me here just in about 8 minutes or so.
All right, sounds good, man. You take care, brother, and God bless you, and prayers are with you. And Global Truck Series, we're up to know. Sold!
There you go.
Helmet. I'm out.
See, I like this. This is good. Anybody else want to join in on brokering deals across the air? I am all for it because I'm just kind of dipping my feet into this a little bit.
Wheeling and dealing, man. I love that. And I was just thinking, why does Michigan Eddie even need a place like eBay? He could just hold live auctions right there with that.
Absolutely.
I love it, man.
Absolutely. But no, certainly appreciate that. And that'll allow some things to kind of get rolling a little bit and looking forward to it. Because it's a cool thing. I mean, Jaws was a big-time player for the Eagles. He never made it to the actual NFL Hall of Fame, which is a little bit surprising, and was kind of famous for getting like 21 or 22 concussions or something like that and still hanging on. And then obviously he was I know him more as the NFL analyst because he played in the 70s and all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. And what did that helmet do? It helped him, a newer helmet would have helped him more with those concussions. But Chris Mortensen just passed away, so it's who knows what the future holds for Jaws, but I think that is a awesome deal, and it's the Kelly Green, right?
It's the Kelly Green. Oh. It's the old school one. Yeah,
it don't get better than
that. Absolutely. I got if any Jaguars fans are out there, I got a Tony Baselli, who's actually in the Hall of Fame as well. I've got that one. I have not listed that one yet, but I got one of those, and then I've got I forget the guy's name. I didn't really know who he was, but he is actually a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he played at Stanford. I'd have to go back and look at my stuff to find it, but
NFL Hall of Fame?
Yeah, NFL Hall of Fame. He played for Stanford back in the day, that's for sure. I'm drawing a huge blank.
For some reason, and I don't know if this guy went to Stanford. Plunkett?
Yes.
That's it?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Jim Plunkett, right?
Yeah, Jim Plunkett,
Yeah, that's it.
There we go, man.
That's it. And the helmet's a Stanford helmet, which is pretty cool as well. So, like I said, just kind of dabbling into some of this fun memorabilia stuff, and more so just trying to, buy and then sell and kind of get that thing going, kind of like your own little store, so to speak, like Michigan Eddie said. I
was trying to do that with jerseys for a while, like hooking people up with the jerseys from overseas and whatnot for, be like,
gotcha.
I'll get it customized for you however you want or whatever, and just hook me up with like $20 on top of what you pay for it or whatever. But then I got one jersey that I wasn't satisfied with, and I was like, I'm not going to do this because I'm not going to have people paying I'm not going to lose out on money helping people out.
Yep.
And then also I'm not going to charge people for stuff that if they aren't happy with it, then because I know if I see it and I'm like, But I will say that I've only had one jersey ever come from overseas that I wasn't satisfied with.
And that's bound to happen really with anything, most likely. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I mean, there's a lot of ways out there to do some different stuff. You just got to kind of put a little effort into it and figure it out. But I'll end this segment as we're rolling into the next segment, talking with Josh Woodham from QB Vision and the quarterback coach over there at Destin High School. I came across this Coach Dan Casey. If you don't follow him on Instagram, just a great account to follow if you're a big. He's a play caller. He knows a lot about offense, and he's just a really cool dude. But anyway, he posted the story of Bill Walsh, and as being a Niners fan, obviously Bill Walsh had a big part in the San Francisco 49ers organization. But we've been talking a lot about this kind of stuff all week, and I'm just going to kind of go through this real quick before we take a break. Bill Walsh had a version of the Golden Rule. His version was, don't do unto others, and then what Paul Brown did unto me. While most people remember Bill Walsh as the father of the West Coast offense and 3-time Super Bowl champion and one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, he first earned his reputation as an offensive assistant coach for Paul Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals. When Paul Brown retired, he led Bill Walsh to believe that he would be the next head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Instead, Brown chose to promote longtime assistant coach Bill Tiger Johnson, who was an excellent coach in his own right. Bill Walsh was devastated and decided it was a time for a change of scenery. He began applying for jobs as an offensive coordinator around the NFL. Despite his success in Cincinnati, Walsh was rejected by several teams. Walsh was told in an interview that Paul Brown was sabotaging his job search. The word got out that you isn't so good, Bill. The people hearing you aren't great with the X's and O's, but you're not, or you are great with the X's and O's, but you're not a leader. Walsh felt a deep sense of betrayal. He left the Bengals for the Chargers. After 1 year with the Chargers, Walsh was offered the head coach position at Stanford. Instead of standing in his way, Chargers head coach Tommy Prothro encouraged Walsh to take the job. For the good of your family and your career, go to Stanford. Bill Walsh resolved that when he became a head coach, he would treat his coaches the way Tommy Prothro treated him. While you're with us, I expect you to give everything you have, and in turn, I will give you recognition and a chance to advance your own career. Bill Walsh was true to his word. He helped his assistant coaches advance their own career. He has the most impressive coaching tree in football history. Some of those names: Mike White, Ray Rhodes, George Schieffer, Mike Holmgren, Dennis Green, Bruce Coslett, Sam Weich, Jeff Fisher, Mike Shanahan, Steve Mariucci, Mike Sherman, Andy Reid, Tony Dungy, and Brian Bullock. When it comes to deciding how to treat people, exploitation, expedience, and self-interest are a formula for creating a team of individuals who will soon be looking to join another team. Bill Walsh. In other words, don't do unto others what Paul Brown did unto me. And then the book that Bill Walsh wrote, The Score Takes Care of Herself, is a philosophy book in leadership. I highly recommend it if you're into reading, and should certainly be on your top of the list. But just thought that was a cool story and kind of fell into what we were talking about yesterday with quarterback Tads. And we always talk about leadership and coaching and all that stuff. And that's all it takes is, somebody to put themselves in above everybody else. And, because who knows what he would have done with Cincinnati if he had got promoted that position. And luckily, he ended up going to the Niners and winning 3 Super Bowls. So that was pretty cool. And
do you know, like we see things when they're happening and it's negative and it's like, oh man, what in the world is going on? But then when everything plays out and you're standing kind of on that mountaintop or on your way to the mountaintop and you're looking back and you're like, I'm sure glad things didn't work out the way that I wanted to when they were happening like that, and now it's a much more beautiful scene.
Absolutely. You take your positive experiences and your negative experiences and you throw them into one pot, mix it up, and that's what kind of defines you going forward with whatever your career may be. When we get back, we'll be joined by Josh Woodham. He's the current Destin High quarterback coach, also coaches the girls flag football team over there. Should be a great conversation. Don't want to miss out on this one. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer, number 9.
Saturday, April 27th at Bay Haven Charter Academy. In the main event, it's a tag team showdown with Exodus versus Mike Steele and Mr. 850. Then, Callie Mann and Kelly Clark in the Wrestling Against Cancer Championship bout. Plus, exciting women's wrestling. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time 6:30.
More information, ESPNPC.com.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Friday's weather.
This afternoon and evening, there will be a moderate breeze out of the southeast, a variety of mostly clouds and possible thunderstorms, and 72. A possibility of thunderstorms and very light showers tonight, about the same at 68. Tomorrow, a chance of thunderstorms most of the day except clouds in the evening and a high of 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hi, this is Matt Lewis with Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. We offer comprehensive diagnostics and repair service for all types of hydraulic units, such as hydraulic and pneumatic cylinders, hydraulic pumps, motors, and valves, as well as a broad range of hydraulic hoses and O-rings. Give us a call at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions at 850-326-3000 for any of your hydraulic needs.
Visit their new location, Highway 77, south of Tractor Supply.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. He cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
The locals love him.
You're gonna love this. You are my favorite. It's my favorite.
Everybody's favorite. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. As I mentioned in that first segment, it is time. Looking very forward to this conversation as, like myself, this gentleman likes to talk too, so I'm sure this is going to be a fun one. But that is Josh Woodham. He's the founder of the Air Raid QB Academy, QB Vision Gulf Coast branch leader. He's the Destin High quarterback coach. His son Hampton is also the quarterback, and he's also recently the Destin High girls flag football head coach. Coach, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, what's happening?
Oh, we're just living life over here in Panama City Beach, and I know you are traveling to Tallahassee. I'm going to dive into some other stuff, but I want to dive into this one first because we were talking a little bit about it in the first segment, just a cool, interesting thing. But you are you're taking your girls' flag football team over to Tallahassee for a tournament, right?
Yeah, one little correction. I'm not the head coach. I'm the offensive coach over there. We got a head coach. I'm just helping out on the offense.
Hey, flag football, that offense is probably the most important part of that game, that's for sure. But yes.
Yeah, man, it's fun. No, we're heading down. Florida State University's got some little tournament. I don't think they're putting it on. I'm not sure it's who exactly the organization is putting it on. But now teams from all over the region are coming. We're going. We've got 2 games tonight, and I think they kind of pool play us. And then we'll bracket us out tomorrow, but the weather looks kind of crummy, so figure it out.
So and I'm going to start with girls flag football. Obviously, this is a new thing where it's actually a varsity sport in the state of Florida for the school districts and the counties that adopt it. But you've been in football all your life, working on the boys' side of things and on the tackle side of things. How much fun or how different is being involved in the flag football on the girls' side for you?
Oh man, it's a learning curve, but they're super intuitive, super smart. They don't complain, they don't argue. Yes sir, they're very, like I said, very accepting of coaching. Very coachable girls. Not necessarily the best skilled at what they're doing so much, but very coachable. Very fun, very energetic. I think you mentioned it earlier. They're encouraging, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
They instead of guys are argue on the sidelines and get mad at one another for not catching the ball or not making the tackle or not making a block. No, they're over there picking each other up, dusting each other off, handing the flag back to the opponent. I'm sorry. Are you okay? Can I help you? I'm sorry. You'll do better next time. It'll be okay. It's so much fun. We're like. And then, there's crying, and we're over here as coaches trying to know we're not here to cry. We played a game, Wednesday night, and our JV, we got to be pretty bad. And so we get done, and we're trying to coach them up, encourage them, and they were more worried about the color of somebody's shoes, and her hair was pretty, and things like that, totally irrelevant to the game of football. So it's different. It's a little different. It's not as important to them as you want it to be.
Yep. Yeah, which is it's a cool contrast between the two. It's got to be almost, I don't want to use the word refreshing, but kind of just a totally different environment that you're stepping into when you're doing it.
Oh, it's great, and especially when they learn to execute and they understand terminology and they grasp the game and they start to see things. I work with my quarterback, and she's now stopping, looking, scanning the field, trying to figure out what's open before the ball's even snapped, and so they're learning as they go. We took a playbook. I told them, I said, look, we're going to learn these plays, and in about 3 or 4 weeks, we're not going to need this playbook anymore. We'll just be able to do it, mentally, y'all will be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so now we're just hand signaling stuff left and right, and they're yes and no, and they know how to line up, know how to run plays. It's fun to watch them grow into that, into their position and into the game. So,
man, that's awesome. It just gets you fired up when you're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I hope Josh Lash, if you're listening, County AD over here in Bay County, because I got a girl coming up. She'll be in high school in about 2.5 years, and I know she played a little bit of flag football on our team a couple summers ago. But if we get some girls flag football over here on the varsity level in Bay County, that would be awesome.
Hey, man, some of these girls can play.
Oh.
I mean, I've seen some girls at some of these schools that I'd put a shoulder pads and helmets on right now and line them up. Let's go.
Yeah.
There was a girl that played for, I think it was Lighthouse Christian. We played in a tournament at the start of the season. It was just phenomenal. I mean, you just throw it up. She'd just go up high ball, overjump everybody, and was just an athlete, just straight up athlete. It's like, yeah. The quarterback we played the other night was throwing the ball probably better than I've ever seen a female throw the football.
Man.
Looked like a man out there throwing the football.
That's awesome.
They just had nobody they could catch, but they had a quarterback that could throw it.
There you go. I mean, it's just cool to see, the evolution of football and how it's now kind of branching out a little further and being adopted as flag football on the girls' side as a varsity sport in the state, which is really cool.
Yeah, they need to adjust the rules a little bit because they kind of are, it's in 7-on-7, it's more of an offensive game. This is more of a defensive game because the quarterback has zero time to stand there and read a defense and pick apart a defense. You're literally on the run. It's catch the ball and roll.
Gotcha. So they're allowed to blitz every play.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a mixture of basketball, football, lacrosse, rugby maybe. At times, some of these girls are pretty physical.
I like it. Let's flash forward to what you've got going on with the rest of the QB Vision crew coming up on the 30th of this month, and that's the Pro Style Camp Series out there. I believe it's going to be at Emerald Coast Middle School, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And that's for
right.
QBs, wide receivers, and tight ends, grades 5th through 12th. Talk a little bit about what you guys are going to be working on that camp for some of the listeners out there that may have a quarterback, wide receiver, tight end wants to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we are. We started this really. I guess Max and Bob out of Tennessee been coming down little by little over the last couple of years and working with the smaller groups. And then, of course, they approached me about a year ago to join forces with them and kind of open up a regional location down here. So, and at the time, that's when I was doing my Air Raid Academy stuff. So we kind of just partnered up and went about it that way. But they do this camp and it's really cool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a pro day that quarterbacks kind of go through. If not, just Google it, go to YouTube, find it. There's some good Elite 11 is an organization that's your premier, basically your best quarterbacks and high school quarterbacks in the nation. And that's part of what they do is they put these guys through a pro day competition. And it's really, really, really neat, real high, fast paced, high energy kind of thing where they're running. It's like a time drill, and they've got so many minutes to get from one end of the field to the other. And every throw is a different throw. It's different footwork involved. The route running is different. So it's a combination. That literally, it's just scouts that want to see, can you make the throw?
Yeah.
You got the footwork? Can you do the play action steps? Can you do all these things that you need to do? And they just want to see fundamentals and mechanics. And can you make the throw? And so we take our kids, from ages 5 and up or 5th grade and up, and run them through drills associated with this type of environment. And then when we're done at the end of the day, we'll run them through a timed event kind of a thing. So it's kind of a competitive environment. But we need tight ends, we need receivers, we need to run them. Anybody that wants to catch football, to obviously come catch balls for us. And, we have some guys that will be coming along too that are wide receiver instructors. that'll help with those guys, so they'll get a little bit of education and a little bit of training as well as the quarterbacks. So, but it's a long day. It's a very eventful day. It's fast-paced, high energy. We start real fast, and it's just wide open all day. So, a lot of fun. Y'all were there. Didn't y'all come to one last year?
We came there last year, and that was really my first experience, like being involved in something with that scale. And I was just blown away by the energy and just the fast pace. And, you know, if you're a quarterback, you've got to be able to process information as quick as anybody in the sports world. And you guys certainly work on that. But also just it's a fun environment. And it's a competitive environment. And, you know, we talked to a lot of a former Major League Baseball scout, and he was talking about, you know, what some of these kids need to keep doing, and they said play competitive games. And when you can get into a camp like this where it's competition and competitive, it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, we're looking forward to coming over, and I'm going to try to wrangle up a few wide receivers as well, Liam's age again, like we did last weekend, and come over and have a good day. That'll be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be hopefully to get some of these guys, especially these middle school, high school guys, getting ready for spring, and to get some of them kind of freshened up on some of their stuff and their mechanics and thought process before they get into spring football.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you, we were talking a little bit about middle school ball and kind of changing offensive stuff, and I may be off base and not completely understand, but does it seem like more recently in the last, 10, 15 years that you're seeing the younger levels of football working more towards the passing game instead of maybe it used to be primarily a running game and, you know, with a pass here and there?
Absolutely.
So if that, what do you think the reason is behind that? Just trying to get development quicker at a younger age? So I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
For me,
you're the air raid guy.
Yeah, for me, right? For my thought is, so the way the air raid system works, for the most part, is, well, even in our girls, we run the air raid with a dumbed down version of an air raid system, and everybody touches football. Everybody gets a chance. So when you run the ball, really one or two guys are touching the ball the whole game on offense. It's kind of boring. So the fun of it, and it's just reps. Everybody says at a young age, you can't do this, you can't do this. Rep it. If you rep it, you can. And air raid is high rep, high fast pace. We don't do a lot of conditioning because the conditioning is done in our reps.
While you're repping, yeah.
So, right. So we get a lot of work in. We were when I was at ECMS, we did a count one day, or a couple of days. We counted on film over 400 balls of practice.
Whew.
We were throwing. This is middle school.
Yeah.
We don't drop many footballs, though.
Yep.
The first couple of weeks, we drop a lot of footballs. But by the end of the, maybe a couple months, maybe a month or 6 weeks in, we're not dropping many footballs. So it's just reps. Early on, it's ugly. It looks bad. You just got to keep repping it and trust the system.
That's it.
So I think it's the evolution of everybody gets to play. Everybody gets to touch the football. It's a lot of your defenses are made to stop the run at youth football, and even at middle school level, that's all they see. So when you're one of the only teams just throwing it around all the time, well, now I got an advantage because they don't have time to prepare for me. So I don't know. There's a lot of advantages in a spread out offense. You just got to have, of course, a quarterback that can make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's real simple. It's not a lot. Everybody thinks it's a lot of reads, and it can be a run game. It can be a pass game. But for the most part, I believe it's turning into the throwing and catching a lot, just because we got kids much like yours at 8 or 9 years old that are getting in and getting started early that can throw it. Yeah. We got kids at a young age that can catch it. So utilize it,
Yeah, absolutely, and that bleeds right into the high school level.
It's a funner way to play the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's great to line up and pound and run, but it's like what all these kids love to do. They're all highlight kids nowadays. But
we had an offense we were running at the middle school years ago, and it was an offense that was run heavy, and we had about 40 kids on the football team. We changed it up the next year, spread it out through the ball over the place, went undefeated, and we had 65 kids come out to play the next year.
That's awesome.
And I think they average 55 to 60 now every year out there, and they don't lose many football games at ECMS.
Yeah, no doubt. They're one of the best middle schools across the coast, that's for sure. But a couple other quick questions. We got about 5 minutes to go. This is just a curious question from me. You've worked with quarterbacks for a long time. You've been doing this forever. What's your favorite kind of age group, so to speak, to work with?
The littles.
The littles?
That's easy. The littles. I love them. I love my 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and under, 8 to 12.
And
those are the best.
Why is that? Just curious.
They're man, they want it. They want it, and they're easy to coach, and you can watch them little by little develop.
Yeah.
And some of these older kids, they're already there. They've been playing for a while, and it's much like golf. They've already got their golf swing. They've already learned, and it's kind of hard to break them down and to reconstruct their arm path. These littles, when you got them young, you can start them good and get them going. So I love to watch them, and it's fun to see the confidence that they carry.
Yeah.
Because they understand and they know and they get it and they rep it out, and it makes the game slow down for them. And so they walk around with a little ump about them.
A little swagger, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the littles. They're my favorites. I mean, they're fun to coach. I can coach them. They listen. They're coachable. Some of these older, sometimes they'll roll their eyes at you. They don't like to be instructed sometimes, or corrected, I should say, from time to time, where the littles just, they're sponge. Just give it to me.
Yep.
I'll take it.
Well, and the littles, too, when it all comes together and that rep is just spot on, you just see so much more excitement from that age group than you do from the older kids. Because they're not doing it as much over and over. But, yeah, it's certainly cool.
I like watching them compete with the olders. You saw it last Saturday, and interacting, and they can actually make some of those throws, and it's like, holy moly. And then some of the receivers are like, holy, wait a minute, who is this kid?
Yeah, I watched Luke catch one when we were running some reps, and the big wide receivers in the background. I didn't catch it until I watched the video afterwards, and they were like putting their hands on their head and excited. Right. So I think that's one of the cool things too that's cool about your camps and the QB Vision camps and stuff like that is it's not just a single couple age groups. You're working with young kids all the way up to high school seniors. So I think that's so cool for both the older kids and the younger kids, because the older kids, they're role models for these younger kids, and if they wear that with a badge of honor, that's a special thing for both of them. And then on the flip side, for the younger kids, I mean, they're wanting to beat those older kids.
Yeah,
and it's just.
I got one. Who's 11 now, and he gets mad when he can't make the throws that some of the older guys make. He gets so mad he'll cry. I'm like, whoa, hold on, man, we're not crying here. What are you crying for? Because he gets mad at himself. He wants to do it so bad, and he works hard. And it's like, I love the passion, but hold on, man. Just, it'll be okay.
Yep, absolutely. So, just rep it again. That's all you got to do.
Right.
That's all you got to do. I got another kind of personal question for you. Obviously, you're a quarterback dad yourself, and you work with your son at Destin High there as the quarterback coach. So is it harder or easier on you to be coaching with your son on the sidelines than it would be if you were watching in the stands and not directly coaching your son? What do you think is more challenging? Because I'm just curious.
I can't sit there. I wouldn't be able to sit there.
Yeah.
I'd go crazy. Yeah. I got to be involved.
Yeah.
Not to be that dad. I'm not that dad. I just want to be on the. I sat out a year and just sat in the stands and tried to be the dad in the stands, and I just got to be on the field.
Yeah.
I like to be upstairs.
Okay.
I'm still involved, but I like to be up top looking down with the bird's eye view of it all. So, but I've coached him since he was probably 5. So we got a relationship where we've developed a good, father-son / coach-son relationship where he knows I'm not your dad on that football field.
Yep.
I'm your coach. So we work well together that way, but. No, I've tried to sit it out. I got to have my hands in it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's kind of in your DNA, so to speak.
Right. All right.
Well, Josh, I appreciate you coming on. We're definitely going to have to do this again sometime because I've got all sorts of other stuff that I'd love to.
I'm free from time to time. Just holler at me. I'd love to.
Absolutely. Well, good luck in that tournament this weekend over there in Tallahassee. Hopefully the weather holds out for you and the girls, and you can bring home maybe a trophy.
That's the plan, man. I'll text you and keep you posted. But, yeah, hopefully we're coming home with some hardware.
That sounds good, Josh. Appreciate it very much. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, man. Y'all have a great weekend. Thanks, Ryan.
Absolutely. You guys are listening to The Inside Drive. That was Coach Josh Woodham from the QB Vision Gulf Coast chapter, as well as the offensive coordinator of the Destin High girls flag football team, in addition to the Destin High QB coach. When we get back, we'll be joined by Matt Williams from Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Jeff Francoeur.
I have 4 kids now, Paul, so I'm getting into the world of sports and youth sports and really seeing, in all intents and purposes, how bad it is. Look, I'm as competitive as anybody, but, we want to give parents and coaches and athletes the best advice to have a great experience.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia today and test drive a new 2024 Kia. You'll see why everyone is talking about Kia. The 2024 Kia will give you the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2024 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in a luxury sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Drive away today in a new 2024 Kia K5. Performance, power, and design built just for you. Discover the new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Bill Bird Kia, the original home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you just like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back.
You think we're this, big, happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples Never Fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
Have a quick stretch first.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
Must have pulled something playing hoops last week.
And Jay Henley.
I know you're not putting that rock up from here. You ain't got no Jay.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Definitely going to have to get Josh back on because I can talk quarterback stuff all day long. That is for sure. But now, joined with us on the program today is Matt Williams from Reliable Hydraulic Solutions. Matt, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Yourself?
Yeah, doing great. We appreciate you being a sponsor here on ESPN Northwest Florida. But let's talk a little bit about your business and what you guys do and how you kind of support a lot of other businesses here in the local area.
Sure. Yeah. So we're a hydraulic shop, locally owned. All my family's from this area. We can handle any kind of hydraulic equipment. But we do everything from tractors to cranes to garbage trucks, dump trucks. We can repair hoses, cylinders. Any kind of equipment repair along those lines. We handle right there in Southport. Been in the business for about 14 years, started in-house work about 3 years ago, and moved out to the Southport area back in July, and things have been good.
That's awesome. Sounds like obviously a very needed service here in the area with a lot of the industry that we have. And, people, when stuff breaks down, they're not making money. So they come to you to get back out there as quick as they can.
That's right. Yeah, we understand the importance of making sure that we get you back up and going. Anytime equipment's down, there's a whole line of people that are being held up by that. So we try to get you back to work as quick as we can.
Yeah, which is huge in this day and age. That's for sure. So how can they find you or reach out to you?
Sure. So, our address is 6840 Highway 77, just south of Tractor Supply there in Southport. Our phone number is 850-326-3000. And you can find us on the web, ReliableHydraulicSolutions.com, or the Facebook is the same either way.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like I've heard that just north of Tractor Supply many a times listening to ESPN Northwest Florida as I drive around. So again, we appreciate you being a big time sponsor here. But obviously not just a sponsor on the show, but a sports guy as well. But talk a little bit about your daughter played on the inaugural North Bay Haven softball team. What about 7 or 8 years ago?
That's right. Yeah, she wasn't on the first team they had, but the first team that went to regionals and all that, there was a group of about 5 or 6 girls together there that started playing early and made it all through. Unfortunately, the COVID year was their senior year, but yeah, they made a great run at it for a long time and enjoy it. We enjoy being able to support local sports around here at all the schools. But yeah, definitely. Still got 2 younger kids at North Bay Haven and Bay Haven. So try to do what we can for them for sure.
Hey, that Bay Haven Charter Academy has got some really good sports. That's for sure. My kids go to University Academy, and it seems like Bay Haven and University Academy have become some fun rivals in middle school sports. But we obviously try to really push and support the local sports, not only just in high school, but middle school and rec and all that good stuff.
I was just thinking there when you mentioned that the senior year was the COVID year. I would go. I don't think I'd be going out on a skinny limb saying that COVID was probably the hardest for high school seniors that year. Am I wrong in that?
I will say, from a parent's standpoint, it was hard on a parent because I saw what those girls were going through. That was going to be their year. A lot of those girls, you really saw the importance of your sophomore and junior year to scholarships, because luckily a lot of those girls had already made their commitments beforehand. That senior year, losing that. For my daughter, she wasn't going on past that. So for her, it was an early end to her softball life, I guess you could say. It stung a little bit for them for sure.
Yeah, I really didn't think about that until you just said it. And they didn't get an extra year eligibility like all the NCAA athletes did. It just their career in high school sports, if they didn't continue on the next level, came to an end.
Well, not just high school sports though, because that's a huge factor. But then it's everything else that for 3 years of your life, or maybe even longer, you've been watching people go through, and they get the high school senior prom, and they get all of those things, and it's kind of just you have no say so in the matter. It's kind of all ripped out from underneath you.
And it was, and I'll tell you, there was a couple other little unique situations there. Sophomore year, my daughter tore her labrum. So, when scouts are really looking, when things are really happening, she was down. So, you try to catch back up and try to catch that senior year, you're kind of behind the 8 ball. So that was torn away at that point. North Bay Haven was also in a little bit of a unique situation because up until Michael, they were playing at Harder Park. And some of the parents got together and built the facility after Michael, and that COVID year would have been the first year at the new facility. So you got the facility all finished up and played, I believe.
Just a whammy on so many levels.
I think they played 2 games before COVID. So so it was definitely crazy. But hey, I don't follow it like I was, but. Seems like they've still got a heck of an organization going over there and got things going in the right direction. I'm proud of what that school's done over there and that organization's done for sure.
Absolutely. Kind of Bay County as a whole got hit twice when it come to the sports things, not just with Hurricane Michael, but then also with COVID a couple years later. So, these kids, there's one thing, they can persevere, and they've been through a lot more than a lot of people will ever be through in their young lives. And so I'm assuming your other 2 play sports as well?
You know what? I've got one right now that's kind of bouncing back and forth. She's 11, and she was doing a twirl and cheer thing, and she's actually talking about trying out for volleyball.
Nice.
I've got a 14-year-old son that was on the baseball track, heading that direction, but decided about a year ago that fishing was a lot more fun than baseball to him, so it's hard to get him off the water long to do anything else.
Hey, and fishing, high school teams, there's high school national championships, all these colleges now, Division I fishing stuff, so that's if he's passionate about it and good at it, that's pretty awesome.
Long as they're doing the right thing and raising good kids, and we're not out breaking into cars and breaking into houses, they can do whatever they want to do.
That's it.
Who's the best mechanic out of them?
Out of the 3 kids,
your 3 kids,
definitely the middle one.
Yeah,
he's the only boy, but he actually works with us a little bit in the shop from time to time. He does pretty good.
Save himself a lot of money down the road.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. But it's crazy how we're just talking about the stuff getting ripped away, but how there's all these new sports kind of emerging. Not that fishing's new, but fishing's new on the college athletic level and all this stuff. And I know a lot of people when I was in South Carolina that even some middle school kids from friends I know, they're competing in these fishing tournaments and winning and all that stuff. So and obviously this is a really cool area to fish fish.
Sure, yeah. That's moving north a little bit. I've got a guy that we know pretty good. His son is fishing in the high school series in Alabama, and this kid's 16 years old. He's already won a truck and a boat.
Yeah.
They're moving that stuff along, pretty well.
Yeah.
Which is great. I think it's great to, if they're passionate about it, make it work.
Absolutely. And it's you had the traditional sports for so long, but now you're starting to see, what an opportunity. What an opportunity if you're passionate about it and you're good at it, because obviously that is a skill that is very hard to get really, really good at it. So very cool to see him enjoying that and having that kind of success. But also seeing you, we talk about youth sports all the time. We talk about parent involvement and coach involvement, but also, he was on the baseball track and then decided to go a different way. And what you saying by, as long as he's staying busy and happy, I'm good with it. And you see the opposite of that a lot of times, and that can get pretty dicey and can affect a kid growing up as well. So kudos to that.
Yeah, the day he come to me and told me we weren't playing baseball anymore was a rough day. But, but we're going to do what they want to do and go from there. So.
Yeah, being in the golf business my whole life, I talk about this all the time, and I've seen so many really good junior golfers just get burnt out and drop golf completely simply because of the pressure and the negative parent involvement. And it's hard because you're passionate. You want to see your kids do great, but at the same time, they're still kids, and you got to let them do what they love to do, and that's some good stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about the golf stuff. He's actually. Golf is kind of a secondary thing. He's picked up here lately. He's wanting to play some more, so we're doing a little bit of that.
There you go. Yeah, just no casting like you're doing in fishing. You don't want to cast with the golf club. That leads to some bad things. That's for sure.
I can't think of two sports that go better hand in hand. Now, you might get in trouble for it, but fishing and golf.
Yeah,
that's one of the little... just keep a fishing pole in your golf bag.
I see it. We see it all the time, especially in charity scrambles, because you're waiting a lot when you got a full field, and there's some good bass in the ponds out there at Bay Point.
Bar 73, man. Just bring your little grill with you too.
I wouldn't get it out of the ponds though. I wouldn't. You might want to cook that a little extra, because some of the runoff there can. It's all good, but I probably wouldn't eat any.
Yeah, get it to 165. Who knows what'll happen?
Yeah, there you go. Just cook it off. Just cook it off. But yeah, good stuff. So obviously you said you were from the Tampa area for a little while, so kind of baseball, Rays, but also a Braves fan as well.
That's right. Yeah, all my family's from this area, but spent some of my childhood down that way. And we were down there when the Tampa Bay Rays come into existence. We were at the inaugural game. Spent a bunch of time there those early years. But Braves fan, if you're from Panama City in the 80s, you were a Braves fan. I'm just a baseball fan in general, really. I umpired Little League Baseball for a long time, and being in that Tampa St. Pete area, that's where their Southern Region headquarters was. So we were real involved in that for a long time. But yeah, baseball in general. St. Louis Cardinals was in St. Pete back then too, so that was their spring training home. So
very cool. Very cool. So what do you think this year? Is it for the Dodgers? Is it disappointing if they don't win the World Series with how much money they're spending on trying to stack that team?
I would, yes.
World Series or bust for them, right?
I'm not going to say that I've ever called myself a Dodgers fan, but seeing a winning World Series in Dodger Stadium would be cool.
Yeah.
And I think they've done everything right to try to make it happen at this point. So it would be cool to see it.
As long as they don't have to go through the Braves to get there, right?
We'll see what happens.
Should be a good season. It's right around the corner, that's for sure, and should be fun. And I was going to talk a little bit about some fantasy baseball and just some of the players. But if there's anything else you want to dive into, we certainly can. That's for sure.
No, I'm good. Whatever works for you.
Let me pull that up real quick, because I've watched baseball, but I haven't really dove into baseball until we started doing this radio show last year. So I kind of self-proclaimed myself a Braves fan. We're obviously the home of the Braves here in the Bay County, and went to a game and had a lot of fun. So on the fantasy side of things, it's certainly interesting. I've never done fantasy baseball, but potentially thinking about doing it, because you tell me doing fantasy baseball kind of let you know about all the different players and everything that's going on.
Then here's what we're going to do, man, because I've been trying. I bring it up every now and on the afternoon underdogs. We need to get 9 more people. Well, we've got Dave, we've got Pete, we've got myself, and we've got you. So we've got 6 more spots. We can get 10 people together.
We get Jay in there.
We'll get
he
Jay
won't
in
fix
there,
his lineups.
and we'll get it. Maybe we'll see about doing a live draft. A live draft right now. I know we've got a lot of things in the fire going on with the station, or a lot of irons in the fire with the station right now. So we might not be able to do a live draft. If I can get 6 people before a week before opening day, then we'll have a fantasy baseball league. Now, but y'all better pay attention to it and keep your lineups in order, okay?
Yes, or you'll get reprimanded, that's for sure. We only got about a minute left. Why don't you tell everybody one more time, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, what's the best way to get in touch with you and go check you guys out?
Sure. Of course, you can stop by at any time at 6840 Highway 77 there in Southport. You can give us a call, 850-326-3000. And of course, we always like interaction on social media, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions or reliablehydraulicsolutions.com. And we're here to help. We've got staff both in-house, and we can also come out to your site as well if you need stuff. And pretty much we can handle anything on the equipment side, especially hydraulic, that you may need.
That's awesome. And there's just driving around, you see a lot of equipment with all the construction we got going on here in Bay County. So we appreciate you very much coming in, and we appreciate you being a sponsor of ESPN Northwest Florida. And keep us posted on how your son's doing in the fishing world, because love to keep up with him, and hopefully that maybe goes somewhere awesome for him.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are listening to the Inside Drive. It's that time. We're going to the top of the hour. So that means one thing. It's the Afternoon Delight Debrief. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
I believe the Giants need to make a move for a quarterback in this draft. I think it's a smart place. Or go get Justin Fields. His ceiling is so much higher than Daniel Jones' ceiling that you can't even see it. Daniel Jones could be, if everything goes right and he's coached up really well, could be an effective player. Justin Fields, if everything goes right, I think could be a great player.
Greeny. Weekdays on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Friday's weather. This afternoon and evening, there will be a moderate breeze out of the southeast, a variety of mostly clouds and possible thunderstorms, and 72. A possibility of thunderstorms and very light showers tonight, about the same at 68. Tomorrow, a chance of thunderstorms most of the day except clouds in the evening and a high of 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lumen, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's Hershey's Choco-Mania at Krispy Kreme Donuts. Try the Galaxy Brownie with Hershey's Dark Fudge, or delight your chocolate taste buds with Hershey's Chocolate Iced Donut. How about the Black and White Chocolate Chip Dream? And overload your taste buds with Hershey's Overload Fudge Cake. OMG, it's Hershey's Choco-Mania going on now at Krispy Kreme Donuts in front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle in Dothan.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
We're going to have a talk.
Tell me what you know. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's a frantic noise.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, and the surrounding areas. 101.9 in Port St. Joe along the beautiful Forgotten Coast, as it is daylight savings time will be going into effect there, where we'll get an extra hour of daylight, but you'll lose a little bit of an hour just overnight between Sunday between 2 and 3 a.m. That hour just disappears and it goes ahead. So a little darker in the morning, but it's going to be sunset, I think, around 6:50 3-ish starting Sunday night. So that's a good thing for everybody who enjoys some stuff going on in the evenings as well, and usually a sign of spring right around the corner. But got to give a shout out to our studio sponsor. That's Bill Kramer GM and Kramer Marine and Outdoor. When the daylight savings changes, that means it's fishing season. And if you need to get your boat back out on the water, if you need to buy a boat to get out on the water, there's only one place to go, and that is at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. That is Kramer Marine and Outdoor, selling Seabourn, Spider, Sundance, and as Jay would always say, Skeeter boats, all right there. Great new and used inventory. And if you need your boat to get fixed up so you can get back out, they'll come to your dock and get you fixed up, or they'll come pick your boat up if you don't like driving a trailer like I do, and they'll bring it to the dealership and get you fixed up and get you back out on the water. And same thing right there with Bill Kramer GM. Lots of new vehicles in stock. They're doing a great promotion. Keep your mailbox, keep an eye on your mailbox, I should say, as they got a little mailer coming out that's going to get you a free service and a free fill-up from Fuel Mule all at the same time. So good stuff going on there. We appreciate the studio sponsorship, and always good to spend some time. Saw Chris last night at the baseball fields. He had 2 kids going, one on our team in the 10U, and then his older son Christopher was saw him on the bump a little bit last night in the 12U game, and I believe they won 6-2. So a lot of action going on there at Oakland Terrace Park last night. Good stuff. Appreciate Chris and everything he does for not only our show but the local community as well. It is our time. It is the Afternoon Delight debrief, and I've got a couple. David, I'm sure you've got a couple too. This isn't really a long-winded one. I just thought it was funny. This is from, I don't know exactly where this from. This is back in March of last year. A man wielding raw steaks slaps diners in the face at vegan restaurant, yelling, "If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding," which we obviously know is from, was that Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, where that one comes from. Coach Hale would know that because he's more in that generation. But I just pictured this.
I'm lost over there.
Yeah,
buddy.
I'll have to look it up. That's for sure. But yes, so I just thought that was funny. I could picture a guy running around with a couple steaks, just whacking people in the face, screaming lines from famous songs. I don't know if that's the 70s or the 80s. I should have probably looked that up before I dove into that quick one. But I do have a good one here. I don't know if it's going to affect our area as much looking at the map, but a rare, this is from WJHG right here in Panama City Beach, a rare historically massive cicada season is coming. A lot of people remember the cicadas. They come, one of them I think comes out every 14 years. The other one comes out every 17 years, and they make a lot of noise. I actually like the noise. It helps me sleep. But 2024 will be a banner year for cicadas, and homeowners desperate to get rid of them. There are 2 types of cicadas in the world, one that emerges every 17 years and another that emerges every 13 years. In 2024, both are coming up from the ground for the first time in 221 years. That means literal billions of cicadas will be emerging, largely in the Midwestern and Southern United States. PestGnome explores 2 looming, prolonged, massive cicada invasions and what you can do to limit the damage to your lawn and protect your trees. This year, we'll see swarms of magic cicada, or it's magic and cicada all built together. I don't know how to say it, but the name doesn't mean they're magic, nor are they like wise men of Magi following a yonder star. They simply refers to the taxonomic genes that the family cicada takes. It's just a variety of the cicadas. Adult cicadas vary in size depending on the species, but usually have the following characteristics. They're about 2 to 3 inches in length. Their wings are large, clear, and veiny. Their eyes are reddish and black. Their movement is crawling, flying, but not jumping. So don't confuse them with a grasshopper. They're two basic groups. Annual, come once a year, usually in the early summer. Periodical, once every 13 to 17 years, usually in the late spring. They come up from the ground to do 2 things. It's kind of like the Afternoon Delight. They come up from the ground to mate, which after the male dies. Wah, wah, wah. To breed, during which the female produces 500 eggs and dies. And then they have a map on the website as well that kind of shows. Florida's not on the map. I'm sure we'll get a little bit of it, but maybe not something we got to worry about. But their purpose in life is to come out of the ground, make more cicadas, and then they kick the bucket. It's kind of a bummer. It's like a bee. A honeybee stings you, and then the stinger falls off and it dies.
Yeah.
Sad. But yeah, be on the lookout.
Circle of life, though, right?
It is.
Circle of life.
500 of them to the one that dies. That's a lot of cicadas.
That is a lot.
I grew up in the Northeast, and I can remember the cicadas quite often, and they'd just be everywhere, and they were loud, especially at night. They're trying to attract those mates. I got one more, David, before we jump into yours. This is a good Florida man story. This is back from Christmas Day of 2023 down in Tampa, Florida. A lot of stuff seems to happen Florida man wise in that neck of the woods, the Tampa St. Pete area. But another year has come and gone, and the wacky antics of Florida residents will live on forever through the internet. From police chases to sugar daddies to booty patrol officers, Florida man and Florida woman were back at it again this year with a wide range of shenanigans. These were a couple of the top headlines from 2023. The first one being Florida man caught driving booty patrol truck and is facing charges. The Florida man was taken into custody in October for driving a truck painted similar to a U.S. Customs and Border Patrol vehicle, but instead read Booty Patrol. The incident report states that deputies discovered the driver had multiple run-ins with law enforcement due to his truck and even has a TikTok account for his vehicle. Back in October, the sheriff's office asked drivers to keep an eye out for the Booty Patrol vehicle as it had been spotted in several other Florida counties as well. I got a couple more, Dave, but if you want to dive into one.
No, you go ahead. I'm over here trying to search for one.
There you
go. It's not going well today.
Yeah, I know. It's like we need more people doing crazy stuff. But a Florida man calls for sugar daddy appreciation at a board meeting. This was March 10th of last year. In this Florida woman tale, a spiritual successor to last year's Florida mistress demands taxpayer-funded BDSM dungeon at City Commission meeting. A woman took the podium at the Planning and Zoning Board meeting with an unusual request. Accompanied by an older gentleman, she asked the board to designate March 10th as Sugar Daddy and Mommy Appreciation Day. You guys may not be aware, but Florida has the largest per capita population of sugar daddies in the U.S. She said, pointing out that South Florida has the most concentrated populace of these age benefactors. Board members seem puzzled by the request. Interesting stuff. Why not? March 10th. It's coming up.
It is. It's going to be Sunday. We'll have the Pacers and the Magic right here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
There you go. I'm sure some sugar daddies and sugar mamas will be in attendance down there. Maybe in some VIP suites, probably.
There you go.
But yeah, Florida man and Florida woman is a real thing.
Yeah,
that is for sure. That is for sure.
I don't know if you were listening to the Dan Patrick show today. Dan Patrick wasn't on, but the story with the Iditarod.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, Seavey, the guy whose moose got his dog, stomped on his dog. Apparently, he got penalized for he had to sit for 2 hours at his next checkpoint because he didn't take long enough to clean the animal. Like I got to just from listening to those guys, I haven't had time to go back and backtrack that. Apparently, he was only stopped for 10 minutes, and there's no way that you can field dress a moose in 10 minutes. So. Yeah, so I'll try to do some more.
Interesting. The Afternoon Delight debrief from yesterday continues on.
Yeah.
But if you're given the time and it's part of the rules, why rush it? And then you get penalized. I get it though. I'd be a little anxious as well, but
right, because especially if you've got a big lead, you want to keep on moving. But I mean, maybe he could be a super.
Yeah, maybe he's the world record holder for cleaning a moose as fast as you possibly can.
I mean, if you can get down that trail in 7 days, then I don't see why you can't clean your moose in 7 minutes.
Right?
I mean, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That'd be impressive.
Oh my goodness, dude!
I don't even know what to do.
Well,
never cleaned a moose, but I never cleaned anything before, but let alone a moose.
I know it would take me a lot longer than 10 minutes because I ain't done it since I was 13, 14 years old, so it would probably be one of those like, well, I know where to start.
Yeah.
I know where to start.
And then after that, figuring it out.
Yeah, let's just go from there.
That's one of those things that, I don't think is, unless you've been shown how to do, not too instinctual when it comes to our society.
In these days, yes.
Yeah, in these days. Maybe, a couple 100 million years ago when cavemen were rocking around.
The beauty of what caveman was rocking around.
And not caveman, right?
The beauty of it, though, is as long as you got service, you could figure it out pretty quick, though.
Yeah.
That
is true.
If you don't, then, that could be problematic.
Yeah.
It could be problematic. But, I mean, at the same time, right, cut that thing open.
And do you have to pack the meat with like the snow and all that to keep it preserved?
See, that's another point I don't necessarily know.
Good question.
Yeah, good
question.
Yeah, what would you do? Just like how would you mark it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You could put like a yellow identifier out there somewhere.
And hope none of the other animals in the wilderness come and take it away.
Yeah, right. If you put that thing in the snow.
I get it now, your yellow identifier.
but still, if you put the meat in the snow and just pack it there, animals are going to come get that.
You would think.
Yeah.
Because of their amazing sense of smell. I've watched a lot of Naked and Afraid, so
yeah.
I feel like I could catch some fish on some fishing line with a hook and some grubs and stuff. But some of those people are pretty real deal when it comes to what they do with those animals.
I saw this video on Facebook the other day where an elderly man was laying down on the dock and was using, I don't know if he even had anything in his hand, but just caught the like a 16-pound bass with his bare hands just laying down on the dock. I'm like, and he didn't grab him, like grab the outside of the fish. He like got him right in his dang mouth. Got him by the lip. My goodness gracious, man.
Some people just have different skill sets than others, and sometimes it just looks like it's natural, which is crazy.
Well, I wouldn't trade my skill set for that, but what skill set is better for your longevity, right? Being able to catch food is a lot better than being able to talk.
That goes, no doubt. That goes back to the original days, that's for sure. When, that's the only way you were going to survive, and with the way the world's going, you never know if you're going to have those skills again. That's for sure.
Man, dude, could you imagine 2, 3, or 20 or 30 minutes the other day? Facebook was down, and it's just all over the internet. But could you imagine 2 weeks?
No,
2 weeks without internet. I don't know. I think there would be a ton of people in this country that would be, or not. I can't even say a ton, but it would just be interesting. Yeah. I think 4 days in without the internet, and let's say with the internet going down, so does your debit cards and everything.
Oh, you can't run credit card transactions.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I didn't have internet for 6 months after Hurricane Michael.
Yeah,
well, not.
But what I want to say is businesses, every business that has credit card processing is run off the internet now, whereas back in the day it was off telephone lines. Yeah. So you would cease business operations besides cash, and obviously then you'd have to have the ATM machines wouldn't work and all that stuff. But I think social media going down for an extended period of time would probably do the country a lot of good.
I think it would be a great thing.
It would kind of bring everybody back together, because then they'd have to talk to people face to face again.
I got an idea. Once a year, let's have a social eclipse.
Ooh, what a name. You nailed that. Social eclipse.
There you go,
It goes dark.
Yeah.
It goes dark for at least a week.
I'll say, man, that's been one of the things over the last couple of months where if I catch myself starting to scroll, and it's just like, all right, put the phone down.
Just put the phone down.
And
it's so easy to do.
Well, it's so easy to get caught up in the negativity, even if you're trying to only watch positive stuff or whatever. And then what happens? You click on the comments and you start reading the comments, and then you're agreeing with people, disagreeing with people. And it's like, I shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff, because I've got something that's right here in front of my face called life that I can live.
Yeah, absolutely. And none of those people affect you at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you let that stuff, when you let negative things affect you, you're just catering to what they want.
Yeah.
And it's your choice whether that affects you or not.
Right.
So put down the phone, go outside, smell the pollen.
Smell the pollen, sniff it. Achoo!
Yeah. Hopefully the rain we're going to get tomorrow morning will wash a little bit more of that away. But it's that time of year. The Masters is coming quick. One more quick one. This is just a one-line one. Florida man hides in chest, uses whiteboard to evade deputies. The whiteboard said, Johnny Yates does not live here, with not underlined in all caps. That's a good distraction. That'll make the cops look somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Johnny Yates.
Throw them off your trail. Just tell them that you're not there.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about the social eclipse. I forgot about the poll question. We still got time to do it. And you had a good one. The poll question for today, we'll dive right into that here in the Afternoon Delight debrief, is if you had to, we're talking about social media and how it affects, and if it went away for a little while, it'd probably be bringing people together. if you had to drop one of the 4 major social media accounts or platforms, Facebook, Instagram, which are kind of hand in hand, but we'll separate them for this exercise. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or X, formerly known as Twitter, which one would you drop? David will go ahead and put that one up on the screen, and we'll see which one you choose. I'm going to guess a lot of people are going to... I feel like Twitter isn't used, or X is not used as much by... I feel like you're either big into Twitter or you're big into Facebook/Instagram. Mm-hmm. And then TikTok's kind of its own thing as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess Twitter probably wins that one.
You think Twitter would be the one that people keep?
No, that they would get rid of first.
Okay.
That they would get rid of first. Obviously, if you don't have one of those, don't vote for the one that you don't have. Vote for one that you'd have to get rid of. But yeah, Twitter is more your like quick informational. Like I use Twitter for a lot of like scores.
Yeah.
Like Coastal Baseball.
I think Twitter by far is the best for sports.
Yeah, agreed.
When it comes to that, it's normally where your news breaks the fastest. And also, isn't it the one where, at least as far as I'm aware, when I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of fact checking.
Yeah.
On there, but and then you go to the fact check websites. It's like, what in the world's going on? So far, Facebook is in the lead, and that would be mine as well because that's where I have the largest, my largest like amount of my actual friends. On there, and that would be the only. Like honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I would get rid of social media because it's a very good thing. Yeah. But it's also a time waster.
It's one of the biggest double-edged swords out there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no doubt. And in this day and age, on the business side of things, social media is where so many businesses spend a lot of their time on their marketing efforts.
Right.
So that goes away. But I mean, if social media goes away as a whole, you're not going to be able to market to people on social media because they're not on social media anymore.
And then what does that do? That helps this radio station.
Yeah, absolutely. Social eclipse. We got to find a date for it in a week, and we're going to make that happen.
There we go.
I feel like Elon Musk could help us with that somehow.
Oh, I think so. But then would he want there to be a social eclipse?
Yeah, that's true.
And then if there's a social eclipse, well, no, because that's not doing anything with the internet.
I still think social eclipse is just that you nailed there was a million different things you could have said there, and social eclipse is so perfect.
Well, luckily we got a solar eclipse that I just kind of changed some lettering around there.
Very topical. Very topical.
But so I guess, and they're also trying or they've been trying to ban TikTok. So
yeah,
you think that goes through?
I don't know. We'll see what happens if TikTok, because it's owned by, I guess, the parent company out of China is who kind of started TikTok and all that. But if they were, from what I understand, they're going to vote on it, and we'll see. And Murphy's Law would say, since we just started a TikTok page for the Inside Drive, because I've never used TikTok before except doing this, and that would be Murphy's Law.
Yeah,
but
I need a social media class.
Yeah,
like on how to actually utilize it the correct way from the business standpoint.
Yeah, the business standpoint is kind of where I grew up in social media, because when Facebook really got going is when I was in college, and then my first full-time gig out of college is when business social media stuff kind of started to get going. So I dove into that hard in the golf world. So Facebook business social media is kind of where I've always lived, and that's why I say I could never get rid of Facebook, because I spend so much time doing marketing on social media, specifically on Facebook, because, and especially in the golf world, there's no lie. The golf demographic lives in that 45 to 75. That's the honey hole. And if you look at data I did a presentation once on social media when I was with Kemper Sports, and Facebook is where that demographic lives the most. So if that's your target market to your golf facility, that's where you need to be spending most of your efforts. And the thing about social media marketing is it's a lot of bang for your buck. You can spend very little money and reach a lot of people, and it's interactive.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story. When you have radio is beautiful because you can interact with us right here on the show. But a TV ad, you can't interact with the TV ad.
Well,
but a social media ad, you can. They got the things where you
streaming.
can. Streaming for sure. Sure. But with social media, you can interact, and that can be bad sometimes if they don't like what you're doing. So
those things are so lame, though. Most of the interactive ads, it's like, what kind of ad do you want to see? Like, none of them.
I never click
it. Can I get none of them? Can I just skip right through you, bro? Like, I don't even like your product.
Just whatever's up there. I did start watching the Full Swing last night. Got through a couple episodes.
Nice. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
The first season was good, but so far I think I've watched maybe 2.5 episodes, and then I fell asleep. It's this season season is way better than last season because it's just so much juicier.
Yeah.
They got through the merger, and the merger happens very early in the series.
Nice.
But it's cool because they're pinning Rory versus the Live Tour, which we've talked about at length here on the Inside Drive. And then, when Brooks is in the lead at the Masters and then ends up losing to John, it was Live versus PGA Tour in these majors. And what's funny now is John Rahm is now on the Live Tour. So your Masters defending champ and your PGA Championship defending champ are both Live Tour players.
2v2.
2v2. It's pretty wild.
Oh, how about that for the match moving forward? Not Live and PGA Tour. Take all 4 of the major winners.
I like it.
Yeah, man, I got some good ideas. Thank you, Lord.
You're on fire today. They're just coming right in. We got to write these down. That's good. But when we get back, we'll be joined by Aaron Bearden from Instant Replay Sports Cards. If you got any questions for him, you can always text us at 850-215-6290. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
I'm watching Luca with a friend who's not a basketball fan. And he says, this guy's pretty good, huh? I said, yeah. And he goes, why does he move slower than everybody else? It seems like an illusion. Like, how does he do that? How does he get there and he's able to get his shot off?
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A variety of mostly clouds and possible thunderstorms the remainder of the day with a moderate breeze coming out of the southeast around 17 miles per hour and temps near 73. We will have a likelihood of thunderstorms and very light showers tonight and be quite warm at 68. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. David, did you say we do or...
He is actually, he's got a show.
Oh, you know what? He told me about this.
Oh, okay.
So I forgot the one week to have him on when he was ready, and then I forgot he told me that he wasn't going to be able to make this Friday.
Yeah, he was like, did I not text you guys? And
no,
I was
he did.
Well,
100%.
I don't know if you did or not. I'm just doing what I'm told to do.
Yeah, no. That's my bad. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit about what he's got going on over there at Instant Replay Sports Cards, and they've announced recently that their big break for March. They did a big break in January. They did a big break in February, and that was a football break. This big break coming up on March 14th, which is next Thursday, that is going to be a baseball break with some pretty awesome products in there. Again, it's going to be $100 per person, but some very high-end hobby boxes. It's going to be 7 p.m. on Thursday, March 14th. That's going to feature a Panini Flawless 2023 hobby box, a 2023 Bowman Chrome HTA, a 2023 2023 Bowman Sterling, a 2023 Topps Chrome Update Breakers Delight. It'll be a random team break, $100 per team. Buy your spots in person, or you can go to instantReplaySportsStars.com if you got a PayPal account, and you can get in and you can watch it live on Facebook, or it's a event only that you can show up for if you're in the break. Again, that's going to be next Thursday already, the 24th. And they also announced their next Rip Night. That's going to be coming up on Saturday, March 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. As always, for the Rip Night, they've got special discounts, pack wars, box breaks, and refreshments provided. You can get in there for as little as $4 per pack, or spend as much money as you want, and got some cool stuff coming up. They are open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. They've got all sorts of stuff in there. We talked to Aaron normally every Friday. I forgot he was on the road getting some more stuff for the shop, but I know JSA is also coming back, I believe sometime in May, if I'm not mistaken, to do authentication right there on site, which is very cool.
Oh yeah, man. I want to get Aaron to come here one day, just so I can be like, would it be worth showing JSA this basketball?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, you might. You
might want to find out, because I've seen some basketballs with just one or of those guys for $300, $400, and that basketball you got, if that thing's legit, that's a once in a lifetime piece there. That's for sure.
It really is, man. And I just want to say thanks to all the listeners who support all of our sponsors. But it's really cool when we've got sponsors who are directly correlated to the world of sports as well, and they're going out there and supporting them, man. That means a lot to us here at the radio station, and it keeps all the relationships good as well.
It's kind of why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're here obviously to talk sports and keep you all entertained as much as we can. A little harder when Jay's not here, because you never know what he's going to say. However, but it's also to help promote these local businesses, and a local business like Instant Replay Sports Cards is right up our alley, and Aaron is so knowledgeable. His family's been in the business forever. His dad's still at the store all the time, and they got Kids Club coming up tonight, and they got their normal Saturday break tomorrow at noon. So, pretty awesome stuff to be able to go in and do a break right here in Panama City. They're located at 752 West 23rd Street. That's in the Stanford Station Shopping Plaza. It's right next to Academy and Sweet Frog. So if you got to do a lot of things at once, you need to go shopping for some sporting goods, get you some Froyo, you can also go right there to Instant Replay Sports Cards.
Yes, sir. And going to be working on this fantasy baseball league as well. So if you're interested in playing fantasy baseball, it's going to be free. I don't know about any prizes. If you'd like to sponsor fantasy baseball, then text us at 850-215-6290. We could host a draft at your business. That would be awesome. But we're looking at 10 teams. All right, so we've got a little bit of space here. But what kind of scoring should we do?
Ooh, I'm a novice when it comes to. I played fantasy football a million times. I've done hockey a couple times, and then I do golf on the regular with a group of a few other people.
Well, we can make the decisions right here.
Yeah, I like it. So what are the options? I'm a rookie when it comes to fantasy baseball.
So how I've normally done it is head-to-head with categories. So that would mean that me and you would be playing each other. Like you have an opponent each week, and then you do categories like batting average.
Okay.
You pick the categories, but you've got so many categories for offense and then so many categories for pitching. So that's the status quo that I've always played. But you also have head-to-head points, so it would be just essentially just like fantasy football. Then you have head-to-head most categories, so with one opponent each week earning a win if you win the most categories. Actually, that's
more the
no. Each category is the way that I've played it. So you earn a win or a loss for each stat category. So that's each category. Then you have most categories. So it would just be like you get a win or a loss for,
and that's
So if you win the most categories, it doesn't keep track of the categories. So basically, you just get a win or a loss each week. So if there's 24 weeks in fantasy baseball season, then you would be 12-12 or whatever based on the categories. When you do each category, it gives you an opportunity. Let's say that you start out kind of slow and you lose some like 8-4 or whatever, but then there's some weeks that you'll win all 13 categories. So you can kind of work your way back into the rankings.
It's almost like stroke play versus match play in golf. Whereas stroke play, it's your total score. Everything is adding up to whatever your final score is.
Right.
Whereas in match play, when you're playing an opponent, it's hole by hole. So it doesn't matter if I have a 12 or a 9 and the other person has a lower score, I'm down 1. So it kind of sounds like what that is a little bit.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And then the other way is earn as many points. It's called season points. Earn as many points as possible over the entire season to win the championship. So essentially, you would just...
So there's no head-to-head in that. It's really just you're just trying to accumulate week after week.
Yeah, which I'm a big fan of head-to-head.
Yeah, it adds a little more element into it, that's for sure. I feel like somebody could run away with it a little more on the last one you
on
said
the season
there.
points. Yeah, I'm right there with you. So I think we'll either do head-to-head each category or head-to-head points. And if we don't have it filled by Monday, maybe we can make that the poll
question.
On the Inside Drive.
There you go. And all you got to do.
I think Jay's going to be excited about this.
Yes, yeah. A big baseball guy, much more than football.
Right.
So yeah, we'll definitely get him in the mix there. So we got about 5-ish now?
I would say that we've got about 5. I don't have any confirmed, but I've reached out. So me, Caveman Riggs said he'll play.
Sweet.
You'll play, so that's 3. So Jay with 4, and then Dave and Pete were the guys who kind of brought this idea to fruition. But the times that I've been bringing it up, I just haven't gotten any traction. And right now, we're still not getting any text messages. So if we can't get it filled, then it's just an idea.
Yeah,
more than anything.
Absolutely. And if we need a 10th spot filled, I could always convince a little man to get in as well. He needs to learn a little bit about me. I mean, he knows a lot about the Braves. But beyond that, his knowledge is a little outside of that. But yeah, sounds like a good time. Anytime you're doing fantasy sports, it's a good time. And we got to wait till football again. So
yeah, and it helps you keep track of some of the players that you don't know about, and then you're going through the waiver wire, and you're like, oh man, this guy's been crushing it. That now all of a sudden, when you're watching ESPN or you're watching certain games, you're hearing about that guy like, oh, and he's on my team, and then that's another way for you to watch baseball is you've got your team. There's so many baseball games. Like baseball, you're not waiting once, watching football.
Yeah.
With football, you're watching, 2-3 times a week?
Yep.
With baseball, it's every
day.
Single day, and you got to keep that lineup intact as well every single day.
Well, and speaking of, that's a whole different, that's kind of cool. That's exciting. And, it's kind of like when you bet on sports, too, because this is a form of betting, so to speak, but not exactly. But so speaking of fantasy baseball, Yahoo Fantasy Sports came out with the best fantasy players at each position according to their experts. And I want to get your thought. I don't know as much as you do when it comes to baseball, but the catcher side of things, they got number 1, Adley Rutschman, number 2, JT Realmuto, and then number 3, William Contreras, number 4, Will Smith, and then number 5 from the Braves, Sean Murphy. Pretty fair top 5 list?
Yeah, I don't think I have any arguments or anyone to add above them. With fantasy baseball, just kind of like fantasy football, you essentially throw defense out of the window. Your defense is your pitching.
Gotcha.
At that point.
Gotcha.
So, which I'm sure that you can add in defensive categories if you wanted to, but that is my favorite part of baseball is the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, you're just kind of looking at offense at that point in time. And Adley, I don't know if you get much better than Adley Rutschman, but it's an 162-game season.
That's
it's a marathon, not a sprint. Baby.
That's right. People get hurt, too, and you never know what's going to happen. Best 5 first basemen on the Yahoo Fantasy Sports side of things. Who do you think they got as number 1?
All right, it's got to be Freddie.
It is, Freddie Freeman.
Freddie, then second would be maybe Vladdy?
Vladdy they have as 5th.
Okay.
But you got it in the top 5.
All right, so let's go with, Give me what teams they play for. Division. Go division.
NL East, I believe, is the division.
Oh,
they play.
Matty.
Yep.
Matty Olson. How about that?
Matt Olson is number 2, and then number 3, also in that same division.
Oh, Bryce
Harper.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised that just off of predictions that they've got Olson. I mean, he had an incredible year, but Bryce Harper's still Bryce Harper.
Yeah, Bryce year after year, and Matty really not just came onto the scene, but just had a career year last year. And then number 4 from the New York Mets.
Oh, Polar Bear Pete
Alonso.
Yeah.
So that rounds out. You got Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Bryce Harper, Pete Alonso, Vlad Guerrero Jr. That's the top 5 first baseman Yahoo Fantasy Sports as we get into the season, getting ready to start. All right, second baseman. I like this. This is fun.
Second base is tough because I know that they had the top 50 out and they didn't have Ozzy Albies in there, so I don't even think they would have.
He's in this one, though.
He's in the top 5?
He's in the top 5 according to Yahoo Fantasy.
Good. Man. Let's go Altuve.
They've got him as 4, but you got one 4 out of the top 5.
All right.
That's an impressive in itself.
Let's go, man. Mook. No, because they're going to be. It is Mookie?
Yeah, Mookie, number 1. They got Mookie Betts, number 1 as the fantasy point scoring second baseman. Number 2 from the Texas Rangers.
Simeon?
Yep, you got it. Number 3, like we said a minute ago, Ozzy Albies. Number 4, you already got Jose Altuve. And then number 5 from it looks like the Reds.
McClain?
Yep, Matt McClain. See, this is why I'm doing fantasy sport baseball, because I'm going to learn all this stuff as we progress. That's for sure. All right.
That's impressive, though. McClain being top 5 here, in I think this is his second year. I want to say that he was a rookie. If not, he was very young last year. So that's impressive, man. Watch out for them. Watch out for the NL Central. We normally think of that Central Division as both Central Divisions as just inept compared to the other divisions, but I got a sneaking suspicion that even the Pirates are going to be decent for the first half of the season this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is an anticipated start of the season, that's for sure. All right, moving over to the third base side. Number 1 looks like that. I can't tell what that's the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, Jose Ramirez.
There you go.
He's got to be number 1.
Number 2?
Number 2.
Don't think outside of
Austin Riley?
Yeah, Austin Riley.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yep. Number 3 from the Boston Red Sox.
Is it Rafael Devers?
Yep.
Okay.
God, you're good at this. Number 4.
Well, you're giving me the teams.
I know, but still, it wouldn't help me at all. I know it wouldn't help Jay at all. And then number 4 from the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, man.
Gunnar Henderson.
Oh, wait, see, Gunner's not going to be playing third base, I don't think. I think he'll be playing shortstop, and I think that you'll be having Jackson Holiday playing second base.
Gotcha.
That's my thoughts on it, though. We'll see what the manager actually puts out there.
And then last but not least from those Padres.
Oh, Manny. I'm surprised that Manny's that low.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, and especially now. He's not going to have the same amount of RBI opportunities, but I think that he's got a bigger opportunity to have a bigger bat in the lineup, which is saying something, because they were loaded last year and it just didn't pan out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, real quick on the shortstops, because we got some outfielders to get to and some pitchers.
Go Trey Turner 1.
Trey Turner is 3.
3. Man.
And they've also got Mookie in here at number 2.
See, that's why when I said Mookie, because I didn't know if they're going to be going with, I think Gavin Lux is going to be their shortstop this year.
Gotcha. There you go. So he's in both categories.
Corey Seager's number 1.
No. They don't even have Corey Seager on this one. Kansas City Royals.
Bobby Witt
Jr.
Gotcha.
They have him as number 1. And Mookie is number 2. Trey Turner, number 3. Francisco Lindor from the New York Mets, number 4.
Doubt that.
And then from the Toronto Blue Jays, Bo Bichette.
Man, the Blue Jays are just such a fun team because they are like the legacy team, man. Yep. I feel like we should just ship all of the kids. If their daddy played in the major leagues, like get Drew Jones over there. If your daddy was a legend in Major League Baseball, go to the Blue Jays because they just signed a legend in Joey Votto.
I know, just happened recently here. I had the pleasure of playing a round of golf during Masters Week with the Toronto Blue Jays legend, and now I'm drawing a huge blank on his name, of course. Hit the home run against the Montreal Expos in the World Series. I don't know if it was the World Series, might have been the ALCS. Famous home. Why am I drawing a blank? Beth would be so disappointed in me because I spent a lot of time with him on the golf. He's a great golfer, too.
Oh, you know this person personally?
Yeah, I played around during Masters Week with him at the club I used to work at. I'm going to find it. And
there we go.
Duh.
There we go. We had a situation like this yesterday where I was blanking on Tyson Fury's little brother's name. And then when I was trying to think of Tyson Fury's name, James had said something, and I was like, wait, now whenever I'm saying the name Tyson Fury, I'm not even getting the picture's not coming up in my brain of who Tyson Fury actually is. So I had to Google who fought Deontay Wilder and then find his brother, and it was Tommy Fury because we were talking about that Jake Paul Tyson thing.
I'm so disappointed.
Bullerud?
Joe Carter.
Joe Carter. Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. John Olerud, though, man. You remember him wore the helmet?
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Some legends, that's for sure. Real quick on the outfield side, just give me a quick rundown. What you think?
All right.
All outfielders.
Oh, man. We'll go with Acuna being number 1 overall.
Correct.
Did they have Shohei in there?
They
Because,
don't.
all right, because he's just going to be designated hitter.
Yeah. They don't have Shohei on any of these.
Man.
Because he doesn't really fall into the category, like you said. He's just going to be a DH.
Why am I blanking so bad on outfielders?
They got
right
Mookie in there, too, on this one at number 3.
Mookie's one of those guys who's just
He's a gadget guy.
He can play all over the field.
So you want to get Mookie, is what you're saying in the draft.
Right. A guy that you want to get guys who are playing a lot, who get a lot of at-bats, and that score a lot of runs.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mookie's clearly one of them. It was Ronald Acuna Jr., Julio Rodriguez, Mookie Betts, Corbin Carroll, and Kyle Tucker. His top 5 starting pitchers: Spencer Strider, Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, and Yamamoto. Hadn't even played a regular season game yet, and they've got him at number 5 on the list there for top 5 fantasy starting pitchers. Top 5 relief pitchers: Devin Williams, Josh Hader, Edwin Diaz, Johan Duran, and Emmanuel Chase. Those were all the Yahoo Sports top 5, and that pretty much rounds out your fantasy baseball segment here today on the Inside Drive.
Yeah, Johnny Yankee seed. How is Aaron Judge not in the top outfielders?
No.
Like when we're talking offensively based. How is Aaron Judge? And Juan Soto even, which Juan Soto probably won't be as potent as he can possibly be until after the home run derby if he participates in that. But maybe a new change of scenery here for him with the Yankees. Who knows how that'll play out.
I'll tell you what, though, after talking about this, I'm excited to get fantasy baseball going, that's for sure. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to enjoy doing that. We got one more segment coming up on this Friday here on the Inside Drive. We appreciate you tuning in. You are listening to ESPN Northwest Florida, and we'll be right back.
The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge.
3-pointer, punch it in!
We're taking March Madness to the next level. Join our bracket challenge at ESPNPC.com to compete with the ESPN Northwest Florida listeners and staff. The top 3 brackets win cash and prizes. Join the madness at ESPNPC.com. The ESPN Northwest Florida Big Bracket Challenge is sponsored by PCB Hobby, Pepsi, and Panama City Toyota.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Hartz Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
It almost seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And Welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Our final segment on this beautiful Friday. Maybe some rain coming in this afternoon, maybe some storms tomorrow morning, but then it'll be beautiful again by the time Saturday afternoon rolls around to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Rolling into the 70s next week, and then week after next, spring break here for Bay County, and I know it's going to be beautiful. That is for sure. It is that time. We got to pick our pick'em. I know Jay is not with us, but I will send it to him. I was hoping he would get me at least the NASCAR pick, but I hadn't heard from him yet, so we'll dive into this.
I guess he's still got all the way till Sunday to give you that pick, right?
Yeah, that's true. But I got to figure out who I'm going to pick, too. That's a lot of pressure.
You want me to pull up the odds?
No. I'll just fire from the hip.
I'm doing it for myself.
Hey, I could, too. I can sometimes talk and type at the same time, but we'll dive right into it, and then I want to talk about some of these the roster cuts that have been happening, because it is getting wild in the NFL. We haven't even started the new NFL year yet. That happens on the 13th, which is next Wednesday. But free agency will begin on Monday. So a lot of roster cuts being done, and there is some serious talent that is going to be available on the free agent market. That is for sure. But let's go through our pick'em first. We're going to start with 2 hockey, 2 NBA, 3 on the college basketball side, as you got some huge games tomorrow, as well as we're going to do a golf pick, and then our NASCAR winner for this week, which is a wild card pick. And we already have our 10th picks in there. That's Jay with Chase Elliott, David with Denny Hamlin, and myself with Joey Logano as our steady season-long NASCAR pick. All right, David, first one coming up. I'll let you go first, and then we'll just kind of rotate it around. But I got the Hurricanes at the Devils. I tried to include the Devils and the Lightning when we do NHL.
No, it looks like y'all just made a trade as well,
Yeah, we got rid of Tyler Toffoli, which I'm not completely thrilled about, but we got a couple future draft picks for it. But we finally got a win again last night. Timo Meier had a hat trick, which was kind of cool. But
a goalie, too, Jake Allen.
Yep. Ooh,
yeah,
nice. Maybe he's good. Maybe he's good.
With that being said, congratulations on your trades, but give me the Hurricanes.
There you go. Hey, they're looking good, that's for sure. I got to take the Devils. They're not that far off, but they got to win. They got to win probably 3 to every 1 loss. So which is very, very tough, especially when their goaltending has been a little suspect. But all right, so David's got the Canes.
Lightning kind of in that same boat as well right now, where they're kind of not necessarily comfortable in the wild card spot, but you can't leave anything up to chance right here.
There's still about 20-ish games to go, and a lot of things could certainly change. And speaking of those Lightning, we're going to go with the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Lightning coming up on Saturday. I'll pick this one first. I'm going to go with your Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they understand what you just said, and Toronto's got a playoff spot right now, and they're going to win that game down there in Amalie Arena.
So both teams are more than likely off tonight, as Calgary whooped up on Tampa last night 6-3, and I believe Boston beat Toronto 4-1. So Toronto, I would love to see the Bolts win, but Toronto is a really good hockey team.
Yeah.
Until they get to the second round of the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah. If they make it to that second round, that's for sure. All right, 2 NBA games. One of them will be right, I believe. Let's see. Yes, it will be. One of them will be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. 4:30 coverage starts, tip-off at 5, and that is on Sunday, and that is the Pacers at the Orlando Magic.
Oh, with that being said, Orlando Pacers. No, give me the Indiana Pacers on the road to get a big win.
All right, Pacers going down there. I'm also going to take the Pacers in this one. I think they got to continue their winning ways and getting close to this playoff push. This one,
Magic is pushing for.
Oh, I know.
They're
playing good,
having a really surprising.
Speaking of the Magic, not that I'm trying to promote this business, but I will because he's a friend. Shaq's coming in to DJ over there at Harpoon Harry's coming up very soon during spring break. He's just flying in, flying out. I tried to get him on the show, didn't work out. But Shaq's going to be spinning. He does a lot of DJing around the country. He's going to be spinning it right here in Panama City Beach.
There you go, man.
A little fun fact: if you want to go hang out with all the college kids and see Shaq DJ and be nose to nose with everybody, you can head out there.
Yeah,
it sounds terrible.
Good.
Sounds terrible. I don't need to see Shaq DJ.
Yeah, no, I'll watch YouTube videos if I need to.
Yeah,
that bad.
But there's a lot of people that probably love that, so go check it out.
Yeah,
and there you go, Sean. You're welcome. All right, we got the Timberwolves at the Lakers. My turn to pick first in this one. I'm going to go with the Timberwolves.
I'm going to go with the Lakers in this game because Karl Anthony Towns is going to be out for a month with a left knee meniscus injury. But, I mean, it really just depends on the night for that Warrior over there. Doc A's been chiming in a lot on Twitter about Anthony Edwards and just how he's that player that we just don't really have a lot of today. That just will play through anything for the most part, and I love that. But with that being said, I'll take the Lakers in this game.
There you go. Yeah, and I think he got beat up a little bit last night as well. He took a hard fall. He's okay, but he banged up his wrist a little bit and took a hard fall. But yeah, he'll be good to go. All right, so you got the Lakers in that one. All right, 3 big basketball games on the docket for this weekend. Tennessee has already clinched the SEC regular season title and that number 1 seed, but still on a lot of line. You got a lot of momentum going into the SEC tournament starting here, I believe, on Tuesday, and that's the Kentucky Wildcats going up there to Rocky Top to take on Tennessee. A little top 15 matchup there. I think it is your turn to pick first.
And this is in Tennessee?
It is in Tennessee. I know it's a tough one because you're like, are they going to, let up a little bit?
I'm going to take Rocky Top in this game, but there's just something that's saying, Tennessee's already got the SEC regular championship game, and it's locked in, right? They're the SEC
they're
regular
number 1
champions,
seed.
So they're not playing for as much as Kentucky. You know what? Flip-flop it. Give me the Wildcats.
Dang, I was hoping you'd stick with it.
No, you know what?
No, I don't want to influence your decision.
All right.
If you want to take Kentucky, take Kentucky. Because I agree with you completely on that point. I mean, Kentucky has a lot more to play for just because of that tournament seeding. Because I believe, if I remember off the top of my head, if I can scroll quickly, there's a 4 or 5-way tie for second place in the SEC.
Yeah, like South Carolina, Auburn, Alabama,
Kentucky, and maybe Florida. And maybe Florida's a game back. All right, yeah. Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, and South Carolina are all 12-5 in the conference, and Florida is one back too. They're 11-6. So I'm sure the tiebreaker will go into that seeding. But those top 4 spots are crucial, and a loss for Kentucky at Tennessee could knock them out of that top 4 spots.
Wow.
Depending if Auburn beats Georgia, and then I don't know who Alabama's playing.
Arkansas.
Okay.
Arkansas.
No, for some reason I thought
Ole Miss was, I think, last Saturday.
Okay, gotcha.
Or last midweek game.
I think South Carolina might be playing one of the Mississippi schools as well. So
I really hope South Carolina gets into the tournament and makes some noise.
Yeah, it'd be fun. That'd be fun, especially with how good their women's team is too, for sure. I mean, they haven't lost this year or last year, I don't think. Pretty incredible stuff there, that's for sure. All right, next one we got on the docket, we've got Kansas at Houston. That is a big game coming up with Houston now being the number 1 seed in the country, and then Kansas trying to keep some momentum going into that Big 12 tournament. I think I got to pick this one first. I'm going to go with Kansas for the upset, even though it's at Houston. Houston has already clinched that I believe they've already clinched the Big 12 regular season, so got that number 1 seed. So very, very similar when it comes to the SEC as far as what they're playing for. So I'm going to take the Jayhawks in that one.
I like that, and I think it's a great upset pick. I'm going to go with the Cougars in this matchup. I think the defense is going to prove to be just a little bit too much for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, well, they're only 1 game ahead of Iowa State, so I was incorrect. They still have a chance, and maybe the tiebreaker, however it works out, maybe they beat Iowa State head-to-head, but they are 14-3 in the conference. Iowa State is 13-4, only 1 game back, and then it drops back pretty good there. Kansas is 10-7, 4 games back. So if Houston were to lose and Iowa State were to win, that would potentially put Iowa State, depending on how the tiebreaker worked out, which I don't have that information off the top of the head. So you got the Houston Cougars in that one.
How about that, though? Iowa State, what has been one of the best conferences in college basketball this year? It's been the Big 12, and Iowa State just hasn't been, at least on my radar, hasn't been talked about as much. So
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, really hadn't been talked about at all. And Iowa,
they're pretty good.
They are pretty good, and there's no doubt about that. And they got Kansas State on Saturday, so Kansas State not having the greatest basketball season this year. So that game Baylor and is not Baylor. I don't know why I said Baylor, but the Kansas Houston game could prove to be pretty crucial. All right, next game we got. It's the old rivalry, and it's good to see them both ranked so high in the country because it's just better for college basketball when these two teams are playing each other and it matters. And that is Duke and North Carolina at North Carolina to end the ACC regular season. I think it is your turn to pick first.
Well, I always try to pick North Carolina in these games. And it is in North Carolina?
Yep, it is. It is.
Yeah, give me the Tar Heels.
There you go. Taking North Carolina. I got to pull up the standings here real quick before I make a decision. Yeah. North Carolina is currently 1 game ahead of Duke.
Ooh.
So huge for the ACC regular season title and the potential #1 seed in that tournament. So that's a big one coming up on, I believe that's Saturday night on ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. So you got UNC. Just for parity purposes, I'm going to take the Duke Blue Devils in that one.
There you go. And you kind of went that way, right? Because with Kentucky, they're down. With Kansas, they're down. So, yeah. I like that pick.
Yeah, kind of went with the team maybe that, needs it a little more, so to speak. But the Tobacco Road, right?
Yep.
There you go. They'd be camping out those not Cameron Crazies. They're playing in Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill is a beautiful, beautiful campus. I toured that when I was looking at colleges, and that if I could have gotten in there, your out-of-state SATs were just through the roof to get there. But just beautiful, beautiful place. I loved everything about it. That's for sure. But all right. Golf pick now. Well, what I've stipulated this on is because obviously we're well into the second round and Shane Lowry's currently leading at -8. Anybody within 5 strokes of the lead. So I believe, is it your turn or my turn to pick this one?
I need to look something up on this, so I don't even care about odds. Like, just let me see the
because this is almost real time stuff. Yeah, Shane Lowry, Hideki Matsuyama, Russell Henley, Emmanuel Grillo, Will Zalatoris, Nick Taylor, Brian Harmon, Justin Thomas, Byung-Hun Ahn, Sahith Theegala, Max Homa, Justin Lauer, Lee Hodges, Sam Burns, Corey Connors, Sanjay M, and Min Woo Lee are all within 5 strokes of that lead, and that is basically your top 17 right now on the leaderboard.
Yeah, so there's a side of me that wants to go Max Homa, but I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with Blake Harmon.
Brian Harmon?
Brian Harmon.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm going with Harmon. I knew I should have just went with the last name.
Well, and he's off to a good start as well because he's -2 through 3. So I like that pick. I'm going to go, obviously it'd be easy to pick Shane Lowry. I mean, he was actually a sponsor's exemption into this tournament. You can still bet him +500 to win. He's got a 2 strokes lead. But I'm going to go with Will Zalatoris. He struggled with injuries last year. He's playing some good golf right now, and I just love to root for him to win one. And it'd be pretty cool to see him don the cardigan, as that's what you get when you win the Arnold Palmer Invitational and get the old red cardigan that Arnold used to wear and play. So it's almost as cool as a green jacket, but pretty cool. You're wearing something that Arnie was famous for. So you've got Brian Harmon. I've got Will Zalatoris. I will find out from Jay what he wants.
He's got an upper hand on us now because he's going to be even closer.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, no, I'll freeze it in. Yeah, he does. He's at 113. We're at 138 and 147.
I think he's going to go with the Gala.
Yeah, that'd be good too. Or if he's smart, he'd just go with Shane Lowry.
There you
see
go.
If you could finish it out. Zalatoris. That's a lot easier to spell Harmon than it is Zalatoris.
No doubt.
All right, last but not least on the pick'em, like I said, we've already got our steady NASCAR pick, which is Elliott, Hamlin, and Logano. So now we need our wild card pick for this weekend's race over there, at Phoenix Motor Speedway.
And so we don't got the answer from Jay on this one, and I'm stuck between 2 drivers. I'm stuck between Ryan Blaney and Ross Chastain, and I'm going to go watermelon. Give me the Florida man. Give me Ross Chastain.
All right, taking Ross Chastain. Let me get that one in there real quick, and then I'll get...
I've got some odds up over here.
I know a little more about NASCAR than I do about baseball, but I'm going to stick with my guy from New Jersey again. I think he's due. He ran a good race last week, and I think Martin Truex is going to finish higher anyway.
He's 11-1.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe we should put some money on it. But with that being said, it is Friday. It is time for us to go. You've been listening to the Inside Drive. Hope you enjoyed this week with us. We'll be back at it at Monday. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m., followed by the Magic at the Knicks. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. following the Afternoon Underdogs. Tip-off at 6:30. We appreciate you tuning in. I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
So I saw this over the weekend.